Hello YouTube, Chrome Freak here. See what we're looking at here? Another beautiful firearm. We've had a lot of requests to bring this firearm out from the first time I did a video with John, actually. We go way back to that. Everybody wanted to see one of these firearms right here. You're looking at an FN FAL STG 58. Beautiful. I mean, once again, John pulls out something that makes my jaw drop. It's just absolutely gorgeous. Just like every other firearm he has. Pristine condition, just beautiful. I'm going to let him more or less take over because he knows everything there is to know about this and the history of the FALs. As good as he is with AKs, well, hello. He's good with everything, to be honest with you. I say the AK guy, but every time we start talking about something else, he just makes me look stupid.
Yeah,
to be honest with you, really. His
worries.
Knowledge is really, it amazes me. It really does. Anyway, guys, just wanted to touch bases with you. I'm pretty much going to turn this video over to John, and then we'll get back at the end of the video, and I got a few more things to tell you. But from here, go ahead and just take it away, John. Let them know everything there is to know about it.
All right, thank you, Chrome Freak. So again, this is for the folks who requested a video on the FN FAL, and we'll just start with the nomenclature. FN stands for Fabrique Nationale, which is in Herstal, Belgium. So that's where the rifle originated from. And FAL is, I believe it's Flemish is what they speak over there. I could be wrong, but maybe we'll just say they speak Belgian. FAL is Fusil Automatique Légère, which translates to light automatic rifle. And this rifle was designed in the late 1950s, I believe 1958, by the same gentleman who designed the FN 49. I can't pronounce his first name to save my life, but his last name is either Save or Save. And the history of this gun, a lot of people think the FAL is like the older brother or the big brother of the FN 49. And while the two rifles do share some common operating features, the FAL really got its influence from, believe it or not, the very first assault weapon ever invented, which is the STG 44, the Sturmgewehr 44, back in Nazi Germany, firing the short little 7.33 Kurz. Mr. Save first designed a small light carbine to fire that round. It was then manufactured for the .30 carbine round, and the design proved quite nice and was eventually scaled up to take NATO's first standard round, the NATO 7.62, or also .308 Winchester. Right, Chrome?
Yeah, just to jump in here real quick, too. You probably lost a lot of people when you said the Kurz round, which I believe that's the 9mm short, correct?
Well, this was 7.33 millimeter Kurz, which was actually an intermediate rifle cartridge. So it was not a pistol cartridge, and that's what the STG 44 fired. So they had downsized quite a bit from their 8mm Mauser size. Right. So anyway, so again, this weapon has a lot of STG 44 influence in it, sort of in the way the upper and lower receivers are connected. It is a tipping bolt design, which is not employed by the STG 44, but really, I mean, sort of the parentage and that line of thinking went into this. And like I said, FN started out with a couple of small carbines that did rather well, and they were eventually scaled up to become this weapon here, the FAL. And we'll just go through it really quick here. I want to show you guys some operating features. And I also want to let folks know I'm not too particular with the FALs that I build. I didn't try to stay exactly country specific. This gun's a bit of a mutt. It started out life as an STG 58, which is an Austrian-made FAL by Steyr. It was cut up and brought into the country as a parts kit. I remanufactured it onto a DSA Type 1 receiver. We'll talk about that in a second. But it is wearing Belgian handguards and a Belgian-style flash hider. Again, I just built my FALs for aesthetics, what I like. And so let's go through the weapon really quick. I'll show you the operating features on it.
And speaking of aesthetics, this thing, this camera, once again, guys, will do this rifle no justice. I'm getting very close to having the money to buy a new camera, which I hope to have by the 2nd of July, which is the gun show. So go ahead, John. I just wanted to throw that in because this camera's not doing that rifle any justice whatsoever.
She's a pretty sweet little rifle here.
Yeah, you think?
So one of the, I mean, this we talk about a rifle here with every bell and whistle. I guess we'll start here with showing you guys this very ingenious, lightweight, doesn't unbalance the front end, but is this really nice full down bipod with these spiked feet here and these curved area here, this curved flange which folds up flush against the handguard, so it actually makes a nice palm swell right there for you. But it also will stop this rifle from sinking down into the mud there. So you can deploy that bipod and you're pretty much ready to go. All the operating controls for this firearm are basically, it's kind of like right hand is shooting. So for right hand, we're on the trigger, and the only other thing that we're on is the magazine paddle release, which is right here. And it's forward, and out comes the magazine. And we should probably do a safety check for all these folks that are out there as well too. So real quick, we're clear.
We know it was on people.
I know, but it's, you know.
Yeah, no, it's a good habit to have, and never say nothing against safety checking.
Exactly. I'm going to flip that around so that we can see the operating controls on the left side of the rifle. Dive over the couch.
And you ought to see the gymnastics he just had to perform. That was funny. Oh God, I wish you guys could have seen that. Okay, I'm going to move this camera over a little bit. Hopefully we're going to be getting this into the picture. I wonder if the light should be behind me, but anyway.
We took somebody's advice, and we've got a...
Actually, I'm going to take it off the stand. I'm going to bring it closer so you can see. Oh, yeah, the lighting's much better down here. Okay.
Good. All right. So again, right hand is trigger and magazine release. Left hand is well, your right thumb could be, or left thumb. Safety. We have safe, fire, and in this case, because we have a original receiver down here, we can flip the safety all the way around to the full automatic position, but nothing will happen. This is a U.S. replacement part that keeps anything bad from happening right there, so no worries there.
In my case, it wouldn't be good from happening, but unfortunately, our laws don't see it that way.
Yeah, really, exactly. So the rifle has got a very nice large charging handle, again on the left side of the rifle, so if I need to rack the weapon or something like that, I can kind of stay down here in a shooting position. I can charge the rifle if I need to. The rifle has an automatic last shot bolt hold open. And we'll get a magazine in here.
Your straps in a way is what's...
By the way, I've got it, I don't know if anybody will notice, but I've got an M1 Grand sling on here, and I really just like them for battle rifles because it's just a nice sling. It's a little noisy. You can take the metal keeper off the back and quiet it down.
Some people tape them.
Yeah, or you just take it off. But last shot, automatic bolt hold open, so the magazine's empty. It says feed me some more. So in this instance, if the soldier finished firing, he could take his magazine out, insert a new one in, and then again on the left-hand side right here. So again, I'm still looking at the enemy. I'm still ready to shoot with everything here, and I just need to come over with my left hand off the front here. I've got the automatic bolt forward right there. So again, you know, it's a really nice ergonomic design. It's really set up for the right-hand shooters, but you pretty much got your trigger and magazine release on the right, your safety, bolt release, charging handle, all on the left-hand side, and again, this very large, beefy charging handle right here, which again is great. If you have a stuck case or something like that, you could put the butt of the rifle on the ground, point the muzzle over in a safe direction, get your boot on that and kick that open. Very, very rugged rifle. Let's look at some of the other neat bells and whistles that are on this gun. We've got an incredibly simple and easy adjustable gas system up here. There is a collar nut right here. It rotates so that it closes over or opens up more of a gas escape hole up here. An FAL in a clean condition with good ammunition should be running at about 5 or 6 on the gas setting. As you get dirty, you can go down to the lower numbers, which will close that off. And here's a tip for anybody who's buying out there, especially the parts kits guns, which are going to be 90% or better of the guns that are on the market. Get up here on this gas adjustment collar and see if you could turn it by hand. This one, because this rifle's so newly manufactured, it's got a pretty tight spring in there, but I can still turn that by hand without too much difficulty. You want to make sure that that's not frozen up, because if you can't adjust the gas system on it, it's pretty much no good. Another neat feature of this rifle is we have a gas shutoff valve right here. And there are different,
Bring it around to the front.
there are different style gas plugs for the various countries. I like this style right here, which I believe this is the Belgian style again. It has a quick disconnect feature to it here that has this lever. We see on the top here right now it's labeled A. That means I'm in automatic fire mode. So the gas system is operating to cycle the bolt. And there's a little arrow going this direction. So if I depress this and rotate this over, let's see what happens. Oh, look at that. I find a GR. In this configuration, the gas system is completely shut off. So all the propellant gases are now simply going out the muzzle. There's nothing going to operate the gas system. So here I could put my blank firing cartridge in here, put my grenade over my flash suppressor here. This is a flash suppressor and grenade launcher. And then in this configuration, fire my grenade and all my propellant gases go to the grenade.
Sweet.
When I'm done with that, I've got a little arrow telling me where to get back into the fight for regular ammunition. So we depress it and we turn it till the A appears.
Yeah, it's really simplistic the way they put this together, but in trying to describe it as a battle rifle, it's like a Cadillac. I mean, just the way everything operates smoothly, the way you rack it, it just feels like it's the smoothest battle rifle I have ever had the pleasure of racking.
Yeah, we have a nice, easily adjustable rear sight back here.
Oh, this rear sight is awesome. Everything about it, really. I mean, it's just a beautiful example
We'll do a field
of a
strip.
fine weapon.
We'll do a field strip here in a second, but to reiterate what Chrome Freak was saying about what a Cadillac of a weapon this is, to give you some more history on it and to further illustrate that, consider that over 90 countries officially adopted this weapon for service use.
Wow.
I think close to a dozen countries manufactured it under license from FN.
That's amazing.
It is. I mean, it has earned the nickname, I believe they call it the right arm of the free world, and it really deserves that because I mean, in terms of countries that have adopted it, it's more successful than the AK, the AKM, or the AK-74
That's saying
pattern
something.
of rifle.
That's saying something.
They
When
just
you talk
didn't-
about more successful than the AK.
They just didn't build as many of them because the machining and the work that needs to go into this gun is so far ahead of the AK-47 in terms of machine time and everything. We have a forged, machined receiver, upper receiver on this particular gun. There is a heavy stamped sheet steel lower receiver, and we'll break this down to show you this, but bolt and bolt carrier all machined, just absolutely
Why don't you pick the
beautiful machinery
picking
on this.
handle up too? Let's take a look at it with the handle up.
Yeah, we can do that. Now, when you buy an FAL, this handle is quite tight, and you want it to be tight. So when you're down and you're firing, this thing isn't flopping back and forth in your line of sight. So there it is with the carry handle up. They're different, and different countries have different style carry handles. Let's look at this receiver really quick, because one thing well, maybe we should back up for a second, and basically let me tell you this. Of all the FALs that are in the world, we can break them down really into two categories to start with. And then there are many variations, but if we want to just have a starting point for dividing them up and giving people the background in which to purchase a weapon, folks out there need to know the difference between what they call an inch pattern FAL rifle and a metric pattern FAL rifle. This is a metric pattern FAL rifle. And the difference between the inch pattern is all the inch pattern guns were made, where do you think they were made, Chrome Freak?
Here?
Not quite.
Belgium.
Well, Belgium's on the metric system. So is England on the metric system? No, they're on the imperial system. So when England adopted the FAL and decided that they wanted to make it under license, they took the designs that they got from their Belgian friends and they had to convert all the dimensions on the drawings from metric, and they were probably in millimeters. They converted them into standard units. So if you had a 10 millimeter hole, it was converted into 3/8 or whatever the heck it comes down to. So there are minor differences in the dimensions of the parts between an inch rifle and a metric rifle. Some of them will actually interchange. In
That
fact,
was my question. Yeah.
some companies cobble together, inch parts and metric parts all the time to just make something that's going to work. There are a lot of very cheap FAL variants out there.
And this is the collectability on these are pretty high, huh?
On the pre-ban guns, the original ones that were imported from Belgium are extremely high. I mean, these are very, very rare, desirable firearms. There was actually a small import from Australia, from the Lithgow plant. These are the Joe Poyer FAL rifles. They're the Russian Dragunovs of the FAL family. Very, very rare and very, very pricey. Now, getting back to some differences here on the rifles, I'll flip this around again so that we can look at this side of it again. And I'll talk from the other side. I'm going to do my gymnastics.
That looks good here. I've got some good lighting here. Guys, just bear with me on this camera. It won't be long, and I will have a quality camera.
The metric FAL type guns have got different type receivers associated with them. There's a type 1, a type 2, and a type 3 receiver. So if you want a metric gun and you start talking to people, or you see one online and it says, oh yeah, okay, I've got a nice metric gun and it's on a type 1 receiver. Type 1 receiver is exactly what you're looking at right here. Very distinguishable, especially on this side where the magazine well is deeper. It has this very nice lightning cut right here. It's about 1 millimeter deep. And it has a nice lightning cut here. And then this candy cane shaped lightning cut right here that lines up perfectly with the contours of the breech plate in the back.
The machining. This, I hope we're getting this on camera, and we're probably not, but there is not, I mean, it is literally flush. It's a beautiful quality job. It really is.
And part of this fit and finish here is what you want to look for if you're buying a parts kit gun. You want to have somebody who's taken the time to have done this right.
Now, would you, real quickly, because I know we're going to get questions about it, I can answer it if you want, or you can answer it. Can you explain what a lightning cut is to people?
Yeah, the lightning cut is like what we talked about with the AK rifles. A lightning cut is made in the receiver to remove material to save weight. So anywhere that there wasn't material needed to handle critical stresses in the receiver, the metal can be machined away to save weight. Now, of course, that can be very expensive to do, and in the case of this receiver, this is one of the most expensive receivers to make. There's a nice lightning cut here in the area where the carrying handle comes through, and again, this lightning cut here and here. If we look on the other side of the rifle, we see that the area of the receiver has been thinned down all the way underneath where the charging handle is. There's another candy cane shaped lightning cut right here, and the receiver's full thickness here, and of course it's got this very nice machined area here for the charging handle.
It's absolutely gorgeous. The machine work on this is, I mean, it looks like what would be a modern day job, actually, to be honest with you, with the machines of today compared to
yeah, somebody cranking these out.
Yeah, really, in the time that they were made, it's absolutely amazing.
So again, this is the type 1 receiver and type 1 lightning cuts. Long candy cane shaped lightning cuts forward and behind the magazine well. The type 2 receiver has very similar lightning cuts, but this lightning cut will actually end about right here and dip down, so it has like a long arch. There's a little gap where the receiver is full thickness, then the lightning cut picks up again and comes back up here. So you've got a short candy cane shape right here. There's some differences in the area where they took material away from here. And then there is the type 3 receiver, which has no lightning cuts. And this was the last version of the receiver that FN used, and it was simply used to save money. It was adopted later on in the 70s, and there are no lightning cuts here. So this lightning cut is devoid. This area is all filled in, this area is all filled in, and it gives the receiver a very slab-sided appearance. There are also no lightning cuts on this side for the type 3. So we are full thickness underneath the charging handle and full thickness in here. Again, it's a very slab-sided receiver for the type 3 and fairly easy to spot. So that should give everybody out there enough background if they want to go out and purchase a gun. You're going to have a choice between inch or metric. In the metric guns, you're going to have a choice between 3 receiver types. The type 1 with the long lightning cuts, the type 2 with the 2 short lightning cuts back here, and the type 3, the slab-sided receiver.
Can you maybe speak about the stock options also that came on these?
Yes, different countries had different stocks. This particular stock is what is a more straight inline stock. This is the STG 58 stock, Austrian stock. The Belgian stock is what they call the humpback stock. It follows similar lines until right about here. It has a raised area that comes up here. So whenever you see a humpback stock, it's a Belgian style stock, and that could be a Belgian gun. It could be a South African gun. It could be a Brazilian gun. It could be an Argentinian gun. All those types use the humpback stock. The carrying handles vary a bit from country. The big bulbous rounded, almost like finger grooved carrying handle is typical of the Brazilian guns from Imbel. The most inch guns have got a flat top with finger grooves on the bottom style carrying handle. Those are the English and the Australian. There's numerous different types of flash hiders that you'll encounter. There are different hand guards. Some are stamped steel. Those are Austrian STG 58. A lot of them are this style, Belgian style. Again, this would be indicative of Belgium, Argentina, Brazil. Some guns have got the lightweight bipod attached to them, some don't. We have some front sight bases here that have open-eared sights. They have there's a hole drilled through here so that light passes through. It kind of just has an arched sight protectors instead of these solid ones. Those are typically Argentinians, the one with the ears in them. The British inch guns and Aussie guns, I believe, also have got the open ears. Some guns don't have the light bipod, and here's another thing, guys. If you want to buy an FAL and it doesn't have a bipod on it, and you want to put the light bipod on, you have to make sure that the barrel is notched. It needs to be a bipod cut barrel. None of the British or Australian inch pattern, or Canadian, I believe, inch pattern guns are bipod cut barrels. They did not adopt the light bipod.
If you can see right here, the barrel drops down. Well, it's cut down right here to go from a thick barrel to a thinner.
Yeah, it's got a thick barrel here with a groove cut in it for the sling, and then it steps down again for the bipod. There are prong type flash hiders. There are slotted type flash hiders.
Explain what the prong ones are for. That's a pretty cool
The prong ones are interesting, like the Major Stole, which is on an STG 58. The prong flash hider on an STG 58, and also on the Velvet, believe it or not, that is a prong style flash hider, was designed also to be a wire cutter. You were supposed to slide a barbed wire, a piece of barbed wire between the prongs and pull the trigger. And
that's pretty cool. Yeah, they're slotted, so the barbed wire to fit right in there. You pull the trigger, obviously, it's going to cut the barbed wire. Well, you're not going to be sneaking up on anybody that way either, but it will get the job done, no doubt about it.
No kidding. I could be sneaking up. That's a good point. It's a very shortcoming.
Got another question I know we're going to get would be bayonets. Is there any bayonets that were ever made for this?
Yes, there are. In fact, that's a whole collectible category in itself. The bayonet for this gun, I was going to bring it out because while the gun is absolutely gorgeous, if you saw the bayonet that goes over that flash hider, you would say that is the ugliest bayonet in the world. It is literally a tube that just has a cheesy knife blade attached on it that slides over. It is the world's ugliest bayonet. But check this out for cool. How many people know this? How many people know that Germany adopted the FAL? Ho 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 ho! Wait a minute! Germany, don't they have the G3 with their famous Heckler Koch delayed rollerback system? Oh my God! You know what happened here, folks? How about this for a history lesson? The Belgians had this beautiful FAL, and Germany said, hey, we like this gun very much. It's a nice gun. But we want to make it here in Germany, on German tooling and German steel. And the Belgians said, hey, you know, that's all great and all, but remember about 15 years ago when you rolled through our country and pretty much destroyed everything? we think you're just going to have to buy it from us and pay some markup. And the Germans said, that's raw Hasselpfeffer and sauerkraut, so we make our own rifle, we call it G3. So the Germans got a couple FALs, the G1, and the coolest thing about them is they had a lug on the bottom of their barrel here, and they had a flash hider that slipped over and attached to the lug, and then when you didn't want a flash hider anymore, you could put your bayonet on it. But the muzzle hoop area of the bayonet acted as a temporary flash hider. Pretty darn cool.
And there goes the phone, of course.
That's okay, we're going to keep
Let me hand it to John. I'm going to quiet that up real quick.
Oh great, more bad John camera work.
I'm back. It didn't take very long.
That's good.
Okay, we're back. Sorry about that, guys. I should have shut that off before I started. My fault.
So let's do a quick field strip here so everybody can just roll over and die how dummy proof this is. Everybody says the AKM and the AK-47 is completely dummy proof. Well, I think this goes a step further in being more dummy proof. So should I flip around? Let me do that.
I want to get the best lighting angle we can get in the conditions we got, and that would probably be right here. Yeah.
More gymnastics.
You should see him climbing over the couch. This is funny.
All right, this weapon needs a little bit of breaking in. This is the takedown lever right here, and some guns they have a low takedown lever where this is 90 degrees and the actual actuator is down here. I don't necessarily like those because I would hate to be under the pressure of battle and think I'm getting my safety off, and instead I hit my takedown lever and my rifle's in 2 pieces.
Yeah,
maybe that's the only weak part of that. But on these STG 58 guns, they have the high one. And to field strip this rifle, we need to again make sure that it's charged and the hammer's back. We simply pull back right here, and this gun is going to break away like a shotgun.
Well, your arm was in the way. Let's do that from a different angle because I want to make sure everybody sees how simple that was.
Right here, pull back, gun breaks away, just like a breakaway shotgun.
Yeah, very simple.
You don't even have to take the dust cover off this gun like you do an AK to get the bolt and bolt carrier out. Got that?
Yes, I do.
Here's the rat tail. This is the rat tail. This is the actual rear of the bolt. This rat tail here actually engages the recoil spring assembly, which is in the stock. It's recessed in the stock here. But to get your bolt and bolt carrier out, just grab the rat tail and slide it out the back.
And you want to talk about some beautiful milling and machine work right here.
To field strip the bolt, you put it so that the firing pin is through the back there. Depress, rotate it up and out.
How easy that was.
And you're done.
Look how easy that was. Let me see if I can.
And those are the only 2 parts there, kids. That's it. There's no little tiny cotter pin to lose in the mud like there is on some American-made thing.
Don't you start. This is absolutely gorgeous. It really is.
Oh my God, let's break down our complicated as all heck gas system.
Yeah, watch this, guys.
This is just too difficult to be true. So remember we had our A for automatic. I'm going to turn this towards the G for gas, but instead of stopping here, I'm just going to go another 45 degrees, and out comes the gas plug. Again, that's a nice large part. If I drop that in the mud, chances are I'm going to find that again. If I drop that in the mud, it's underwater, and I stick my hands down there, chances are I'm going to find it again.
Or pens or...
Exactly. There we go. We're field stripped. We are field stripped.
Absolutely.
Ready to clean up.
And that's it. I mean, yeah, this gun is literally field stripped completely that quickly. That quickly and that easily. It's just closed up here because just the way we set it, but it's stripped. And that, to me, the engineering on this, a lot of thought went into it, but the simplicity of it is just beautiful. And you gotta appreciate it.
If you wanted to, you could slide your dust cover off, but it's completely open, so you can clean your barrel from the breech. There's no messing up your threads here. Just a great design. Reassembly is just as quickly. I'm going to put the gas system back together. Then we're going to talk about this bolt, because talk about a cool operating system here. This tipping bolt design. So all I need to do is make sure that my lever was in the same position that it was when I took it apart. Push everything in there.
And I'd like to add something after John gets the firearm back together here.
Yeah, which is
I want to add a little something about what a little bit I've learned about the FALs or what's out there. Anyway.
I interject as I struggle with the world's easiest gas piston.
It's a video. We're gonna struggle. I promise you. When the camera's rolling, we'll always have issues, but it's on. I mean, it's very simple and easy. And yeah, when the camera's rolling, any little thing that will go wrong, and you got the oil on there, like you said.
Go ahead, Mike. You want to get to that before we get to this bolt real fast? What you learned about the FAL?
Well, no. Let's get it back together, and then we'll
All right.
I don't want to interrupt.
To put your bolt back together, all you need to do is slide it down in there like that, and give it a little bit of a push, and we're done.
That's it.
Oh, it's so nice. I mean, it won't fall out of there, which is so nice. Because again, when you're trying to get this back together. But let's look at the operating principle here. Now keep in mind this is upside down. It would be like this in the rifle, so maybe I will keep it like this. So this is moving backwards out of battery, and we can see we've got a safety feature here. Until the rifle is in battery here, the firing pin will not be through that back there, so that acts as the firing pin stop, so we can't have an out of battery fire. And then the locking occurs right back here. This is the locking shoulder right here, and I'm going to do this upside down again so that everybody can see how this works.
The lighting was better, but
well, maybe if I get up here, is it a little bit better?
A little bit, yeah.
There we go. All right, so everybody see what just happened? As I push that to the rear, everybody see the butt end of this jump up? Look at the relationship right here. See how this is higher, now lower? So as this comes into battery, there's a cam surface in the roof of that bolt carrier, and it forces this locking shoulder on this bolt. In this case, it's forcing it up. But remember, we're upside down here. So in the rifle, it's forcing it down. And that's the tipping bolt design. Tip forward and out for out of battery and for charging and picking up a round. Locking is tipping down to lock into the locking shoulder on the receiver. And the locking shoulder on in the receiver actually passes through the receiver body. It's this piece right here. And they have different sizes of this piece so that you can headspace the rifle. If one of these wears out, you can knock it out, put a new one in there.
That's pretty neat. And parts are pretty much well accessible for this firearm.
Still for the FAL, yeah, there's plenty of replacement parts out there, which is really great.
What I was going to interject with is you see a lot of FAL, well not a lot, but you see FALs at gun shows and whatnot, and some of them are kind of beat up pretty good. It's not what I learned about them, it's what I was going to ask you about them actually. What are some of the main things to look for in an older, because I mean, every example that John has that he shows us here, I mean, these firearms are in pristine, beautiful condition. It's because John takes pride in his collection, and it's an awesome collection. But it's going to be very rare to probably run into something that looks this good at a gun show. So what's the main thing to look for on a beat up FAL that's selling for that $700, $800, $900 more?
Well, that's where you want to be careful, because I'll tell you what, guys, for the people who are buying out there, again, most of what you're going to come across are parts kits. About 90 to 95% of the guns out there are going to be parts kit guns, reassembled here in the States. There were various builders, and unfortunately the sun has long set on the heyday of the FAL parts kitting world out there. This really got going in about 97, 98. By about 2000, 2008, that 10-year period, it had died out. There's very few good parts kits out there anymore. Most of what's being manufactured is junk. So for people who are looking to buy, if you're going to know immediately if a gun is a pre-banned gun that was manufactured in its original country, and again, the import countries for the FAL, I believe, are Belgium. It will say FN or Fabrique Nationale, made in Herstel, made in Belgium. It'll usually have some type of markings on it, like the caliber, and it may even say model 50 or 50 match. There's a 50.05, there's paratrooper versions. Other pre-banned receivers will be marked Lithgow, Australia. Again, very rare gun, very, very expensive. The Springfield Armory SAR 48 and SAR 4800 group of rifles are excellent FAL type rifles. They were made for Springfield Armory in Brazil at the Imbel factory. Those are high quality guns, and occasionally you'll come across some receivers that are marked FMAP, made in Argentina. Again, those are excellent guns. But the majority of what you're going to find out there is going to be parts kits guns on American-made receivers, or in some cases on a Brazilian receiver, the Imbel receiver. And what you want to look for in an Imbel receiver, I know Century Arms International right now is turning out guns that are on Imbel receivers that are marked made in Canada, R1, A1 Sporter or something like that. They're garbage, just stay away with them. The good guns on Imbel receivers are what's called the Gear Logo Imbel receiver. Just Google it. And the reason it's called Gear Logo is because the armament factory Imbel's symbol is like a sprocket, a gear. And it'll have that gear symbol. It will say Imbel in front of it. And almost all the Imbel receivers were imported by Pacific Armament Company. So the serial numbers will begin with PAC. They will be labeled Pacific Armament Company, Modesto, California. If you see a parts kit gun on a Gear Imbel receiver and it's labeled, Pacific Armament Company, and the serial number is PAC something, that's a quality build. Most people who are putting parts kits together wouldn't buy a great receiver like an Imbel and then put a crappy parts kit on it. So that's a pretty safe bet.
Anything on a DSA receiver, whether it be inch or metric, is a pretty safe bet. Again, if somebody's going to spend the money on a DSA receiver, they're going to be putting a good parts kit on it. So that's something to look for. The last receiver I would recommend people buying, and this is for inch pattern guns only, are the Early Enterprise Arms receivers. They will be marked Buena Park, California, or Irwindale, California, but serial numbers below 5,000. Those were quality receivers, and I know there's some good, folks out there who own a lot of. Enterprise turned out a lot of guns, but they did have some quality control problems in Irwindale, about the 5,000, maybe 6,500 serial number mark. Some of the FAL builders, like Arizona Response System and Century Gun Works, wouldn't build the receivers up for you anymore because they were just too problematic. They were just too out of spec. So Early Enterprise, Buena Park, or low serial number Irwindale, anything on a DSA receiver, inch or metric, and anything on an Imbel gear logo receiver, which will be a metric rifle, those are good, typically a sign of a good quality parts gun. Look for the fit and finish between the breech plate and the receiver.
Very important right
That's
here.
definitely important. Now, there will be one area.
We gotta kind of hurry. We got less than 3 minutes on the clock.
Oh my gosh. There'll be a Type 3 receiver may not match up with this cut right here, but that's okay. That's to be expected. Here's some receivers I want you to avoid at all costs. Ohio Rapid Fire. Sorry, they're garbage. Hess Arms receivers. Absolute freaking garbage. Williams Armament Company. They made for a very limited time an aluminum FAL receiver. It's a bomb. It will explode on you. Do not buy them. Those are some ones you want to avoid. Well, listen, since we're short on card time here and nobody likes long videos, we'll say goodnight for now, and hopefully this turned out okay.
Real quickly, on the guns that you were... You know what? Just comment. Comment and PM us if you have questions about where you think or want to know where the dollar figure should be on any of the receivers or the firearms John was talking about with the receivers he named. And we can get you in the ballpark anyway, so you don't get ripped off. And just have fun, guys. Go out there. This is real education. This is not reading off of Wikipedia. This is all off the top of John's head. This is how knowledgeable he is. It amazes me. I think I know a little bit about firearms, and he just blows me away, man, with his knowledge, especially on old military firearms like this. He's just amazing. An amazing, amazing guy. Thank you, John, for your time. Thank you guys for watching. And hopefully I could talk John into getting this out here to the range. Maybe we can put some through this one. I don't know.
We need to break it in a little bit so that...
So he wants to shoot this one. That's good news, guys. We might get this into the range here within the next maybe even week. It might happen because we got some days coming off. All right, guys. Anyway, I want to thank you. New cameras coming. Once again, July 2nd and 3rd. You want to meet John? John's going to be there too, as well as Brandon, Les, David, the Reverend, Ian, all the guys down at K&W Gun Works. July 2nd and 3rd, West Palm Beach Gun Show. Come meet us. And John's even going to be there with me, like I said. So anyway, guys, thank you for bearing with this camera one more time. It won't be very many more, and it'll be a new one. All right, YouTube.
Good night.
Good night. See ya.